Welcome everyone to Inspired Biz Conversations. Today I have the most amazing, delightful, soulful and voice coach, Dominique Oyston. Thank you so much, Dominique, for being here today.
Tammie, it is my honor and my pleasure to be here with you.
So a little bit about Dominique. Dominique is a song healer, a voice and performance expert and transformational coach. Dominique supports purpose-driven women to move from fear into power, to ignite their unique voice, anchor inner authority, and express their most beautiful truth. Dominique stands as a thought leader with so many women on the edge of the evolution of the sacred feminine reawakening. Our voices are needed. Dominique has trained as a yoga teacher, Steiner teacher, sound healer, spiritual healer, dancer, actress, energy worker, and advanced angel intuitive. She is a mother of 2 boys, and her role as a mother underpins all of her work. As a professional opera singer and an international performer for over 25 years that took her over 30 countries, Dominique's expertise lies in the areas of feminine empowerment and all things voice, storytelling to magnify your business outcomes, keynote speaking and performance magic, sound healing, ancient mystery school wisdom, archetypes, and creative visioning. Oh my goodness, you are just an amazing, amazing, delightful woman who has, what you've done is just phenomenal, and what you provide for women is just like, it's so encompassing of all that is woman, aren't you?
Do you know, I feel really fortunate because I had 2 matriarchal grandmothers. One of them was this fierce, crazy, mad, much loved actress of film and television, and she at 75, she was like so full of life and so passionate, and she won like an AFI award for Best Actress at 75. She was loved by the media in her 70s, and it just made me realize that there is no such thing as shrinking and being less than. And the other grandmother, like she was the queen of her home. And so you would go to her house at Christmas and she'd be feeding 25 people off these 4 little electric burners, and just this incredible generosity and of spirit and emotional energy. And so these 2 grandmothers, they effectively taught me on this cellular level that I'm allowed to be whoever I want to be, and that is really the unfolding of our purpose, to allow ourselves to fully express what we come in with, and to find out what that is, and to love it, to embrace it, and just to not be ashamed of being our crazy selves. So I'm fortunate in that regard that I got to then practice that in my own profession.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. But to have that as upbringing and to infuse that into your life must have meant that you were able to see things that a lot of women couldn't experience or weren't able to because they didn't have that kind of support or knowing within inside themselves. So I guess with what you already do, how did you become and know what you wanted to do, what you do today?
Well, I didn't really. I didn't know. I followed the pathway of least resistance when I was younger. When I was a teenager, I was very alone and very lonely as a child, and so I had this quite rich inner life, being raised among theatrical people. But yeah, very isolated, and I don't know, that I had to fend for myself. And at first, when I was a teenager, I was really angry. I was so angry that I was too scared to speak, and I really hardly spoke at all for 2 years. And from that experience of not speaking, I really thought, I have to find out how to make my voice work. And through that, the one thing I could do was sing. So when I was little, I sang to the fairies in the garden for hours and hours and hours and hours. And I kept singing, and people kept on saying, yes, we're going to open that door for you to allow you to sing. And at first I thought it looked like the Star Journey, you know, the star opera singer, you go, the sort of idea of what is excellence as we see on things like The Voice or and those big star journey doors didn't open for me. These very peculiar sort of left field social kind of co-creating plays and co-creating theatres, and having to go to that country to sing to a whole lot of children, and having to go to that country to work with a business person on top of a mountain, and like really odd stuff. And so I was stretched in the ways of courage, because I was very, very frightened, because I was so self-critical. So I understand that the voice is the place of deep, deep fear and trauma for people. Like, I know that in every part of me. But I also know that what happens when we are taught to be courageous with our voice and to reclaim our voice, that the entire world of being opens up for us. Like, the voice is this pathway to manifesting your soul self and all your talents and all your gifts, and manifesting practical things too, like financial outcomes and good conversations and visibility, you know, and those business outcomes that work for us. So I had this strange experience of really building the inner life and being allowed to explore that and the soul life, and then building the practical kind of stuff too. Like, having to make your life work when you're an artist isn't the easiest thing in the world. There's a lot of starving in garrets, and there's a lot of highs and lows. So
amazing. And I guess, so what I can feel is that your passion is to help people reconnect to their voice and their inner strength, especially from what you learned in your journey. And so I guess, how do you do that? How do you help people get connected back to that inner strength? Because a lot of women especially are so disconnected on such a collective level, that to even start is like so fearful and difficult, like to even comprehend, to speak up for oneself.
I think the starting point is really that acknowledgement that this is a collective trauma, and that for thousands of years the voice of the feminine soul has not been allowed in the public arena. And so, of course, on that deep, fundamental, primal level, we are shut down, we are contracted, we are disconnected, we are terrified. And we know that statistically the fear of public speaking is up there with the fear of death. It means death on a literal level to us. If I dare to reveal my truth, my authentic self, then I'll be abandoned, rejected, criticized, shamed, all that kind of stuff. And in some ways we have to just say, look, I understand that trauma exists. I'm going to choose to be courageous. And this is this absolute choice to say, I have to do this courageously. I have to meet this trauma, this fundamental primal trauma as a woman with a voice, in a courageous way. I can't pretend that it doesn't exist. I have to actually look at it and say, okay, I know you exist. What am I going to do about you? Because when I reclaim you, when I actually dare to be courageous, then confidence is built from courage. You know, confidence doesn't come before courage. You have to take that step of saying, oh, I have to meet the shadow. I have to face it. I have to. And the beautiful thing about this day and age, in the Western world anyway, is that we have the sister circles that are forming. And the sister circles are saying, we are doing this together. We are doing this. This is our task, to rebirth everything about the feminine presence, the feminine soul, the feminine principle into the earth again. Because if we don't, you know, you look at it on a practical level, if we continue down the polarity of the masculine, the earth will be destroyed, humanity will be destroyed, we'll wipe ourselves out. So that polarity has to now come into balance. We've swung out on the masculine polarity to a huge extent. Got to bring it back in. The feminine has to rise. And I call it raising feminine frequency in the work that I do. And so this raising of the feminine frequency is a literal thing, that we are actually raising our own frequency and our own awareness of what it is to be woman in this day and age. But then we have to express it.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I've learned about the voice is, all the ancient spiritual texts tell us that in the beginning was the word, and the word gave birth to matter. And in physics, sound constructs matter. So everything has a signature vibration. So you've got your scientific and your spiritual, and we're supposed to bring it all together into the personal expression and say that when I speak my truth, I'm literally birthing my spiritual soul self into the material world every single time I do it. So if I do not use my voice, then I'm not manifesting myself. I'm not manifesting my path in the way that I could, in the fully expressed way. And so my history has given me experience around fully expressing myself, and also not fully expressing myself, like hiding. Because it was fine for me to be a performer and be all this kind of but real me, like what I really felt and what I really thought, I've only dared to do that recently. And the change in my life, the relief that comes with actually doing that at last is extraordinary. And I see it as like standing on the mountaintop. You know that little proverb that says, he took them to the mountaintop and then said, fly. And they were just too scared to fly. And so he pushed them and they flew. And I think essentially with the voice, we so often come to the mountaintop and we stand at the edge of the mountaintop, and we can spend a lot of time on that mountaintop, not flying and not jumping. Or we can gather our skills and we can do all sorts of stuff and look really, really busy, but we still have to jump off the mountain to fly. So you can't fly unless you leap. And this is what I guess I want to teach women, is how to be unstoppable, how to fly, not just to walk and be busy and accumulate through doing. I actually want to teach women to fly, because when we fly, then the frequency of the feminine is collectively raised, because we're more visible. You see a pelican flying over across and everyone looks. Well, not everyone, but you see an eagle and people go, oh, look at that. And it raises something in us. And it's the same with people. When we see someone flying as their authentic self, sometimes we'll get the FOMO, sometimes we'll get the jealousy, oh, why not me? But at the same time, it's that I long for that, I want that, I yearn, I want to fly. And so that's what I teach people to do.
And it's amazing. It's because you open, like you said, the FOMO, the fear of, and the envy, that is all part of the process. And it's not to shut that down, because your soul knows you want that. And if you can find that in someone like you, because I have followed you for a very long time, your voice is just heaven sent. And the first time I heard it, I was like crying and tingling. I'm like, this is just phenomenal, because you in essence are sharing that magic, that vibration, and I connect so deeply with that. And with everything that you've said, it's just so pure truth. And the women that I talk to who aren't aware spiritually, though, they get goosebumps when they hear something that resonates with them. And when you talk your truth, it resonates through my whole being and wants me to step up even more so. And I guess that's what you're so good at, isn't it? It's helping women to connect with that within inside themselves, and then help grow it through your services and your coaching and your programs, isn't it? It's phenomenal.
Oh, that's so gorgeous. That's so gorgeous. I mean, and I love what you say about that visceral experience, that we feel it in our body and our whole body response. Because, of course, one of the things that's been shut down with the feminine is body. The non-permission around having a body. Oh, my gosh. And so all the information that we receive through the body, we've kind of disconnected from. And you can't speak without your body. Like, the voice lives on the body and breath. And so in a very simple physical way, we can, when you connect people's voices up to their body and the breath adequately, everything else starts to kind of spark and come alive. So it's useful in that way. But yeah, that embodying the self, we all really want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Most of us are terrified of doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's a scary journey. And yet, what else is there?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
We still have to walk the path.
Mm-hmm.
And it's okay to be frightened for as long as you're frightened along the way. And I don't think, yeah, sometimes the fear does vanish, but I think what we can create is we can create this almost like a core of confidence and a core of magnetic attraction, and almost like I call it the confidence cauldron. And you mix the things that you are in it, like you've got this little kind of reservoir. And okay, that's scary, but I can put my kind of my fears and my skills and my intention into that cauldron and mix it up and go, okay, I'm strong enough to do that. I can feel a confidence and I can feel a magnetic pull towards that. I'm going to walk it.
Mm-hmm.
I might muddle up and I might kind of be a mess, but that's okay. I'll walk it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we've got to be able to be prepared to start walking the path, even though we're not perfect.
Yeah. And I know so many women out there who don't know where to start. And like, I've seen what you provide, and I would love for you to explain what it is you provide in helping women to be able to do that. So your programs and your packages, and you also do, the online one that just seems, I'm just like, I'm really, honestly, I'm not joking, I'm signing up to it because everything resonates so deeply and so powerfully with everything that you're covering in your online program.
Yeah. So I think you mean the Sound Healing Academy?
Yeah, the Sound Healing Academy.
So there's two pathways with the voice, and one is the speaking pathway and one is the healing pathway. And healing, of course, involves speaking. But when we travel down the healer pathway, every healer in every ancient tradition would use their voice magically to create vibrational shift in their patient and an instrument. And so the Sound Healing Academy, I'm actually changing it. It's now the Empowered Voice Academy, Sound Healing Training, and Priestess Voice. Because, and I'll chat about the confident speaker stuff, and I'll chat about the sound healing. So the Priestess Voice, I think, is one of the core manifestations of the voice that those of us who are healers and oracles and invokers of the mysteries are reclaiming. And the Priestess Voice, there's 4 aspects. One is the oracular capability, like a priestess was an oracle. She would see all the signs from the world and the elements, and she would then be the voice of those signs for whoever asked her the question. And that's, all the intuitives and readers and guides and coaches. That oracular capability is, I think, something that we can reclaim and rework, and that's what I really want to do in the Sound Healing Academy. And obviously the voice of the healer, and the voice of the healer is part of the Priestess Voice training. Priestesses were healers with their voices, and then the enchantress, the invoker, was the one who sang spirit through into matter. So whether it was toning or calling or chanting or literally singing, and this is this idea that we are the bridge between spirit and earth. And so we can use our voices to chant the realities of spirit into being. And then the 4th one is spiritual leadership. So the priestess was often a leader and a guide for her people and for her community. And so, yeah, those 4 aspects, I think, are crucial for the priestesses to bring forth in their voice. And so it's Sound Healer Training and the Priestess Voice Academy now, because the priestesses need their voice and they need to claim it in these ways. And of course, we'll have different pathways that we prefer, but if you touch on all of them, then you're expanded. Your capacity to be powerful with the voice is expanded. So that's the Sound Healing Academy. We just do monthly themes, and it's really rich in content. I mean, there are a lot of calls to really get people actioning.
Mm-hmm.
This has to be actioned. We can't just think about speaking. We have to actually sound and use it and get confident in using it, not just thinking about using it. And then all the speaker programs, I've got Get TED Talk ready if you want to create a TED Talk, because a TED Talk is a performance.
Uh-huh.
And so you perform your idea, your incredible idea. And that, I love that process. I love crafting the speech and then getting ready to perform the speech. That's exciting. And then the next step is, well, prior to that, is create a signature speech.
Mm-hmm.
And with a TED Talk, you don't need to know who you are as much. You need to know your idea. But with a signature speech, you need to know who you are. And it's so hard for what a lot of people don't realize is it's really hard to write your signature speech if you don't have enough of a landing place with who am I. So the work into really reclaiming your spiritual lineage as someone who delivers a message, that comes, and then the speech comes out of that. It's so fun. And then confident speaker is just building this confidence source, almost like a ball of energy inside you that you can access every time you need it. And I think we need that in our bodies, like literally that feeling, not confidence as an idea, but know that we can go in and we suddenly can contact that place inside of us that is confident. And so the confident woman speaker is to build that as something that you have access to forever. Like once you have that, you can just keep going. Mm-hmm. That's the unstoppable part. I really think that when we really build our confidence core, that's when we become unstoppable. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So they're my programs.
It's like, which one do I need, or which one will be the perfect one? But I know exactly which one I'm going for. So, though I also have to say, you'd still do in live workshops as well, because I've actually had a friend who found you through the Heart-Centered Entrepreneur Group, and she said it totally changed her life.
Oh wow!
You know.
Yeah. This is the thing. You get someone live, and because I work as a sound healer, like if I tone into the throat chakra, basically I'm doing that priestess voice thing of spirit comes through literally, and the person who is being toned or sung to, they take what they want from that frequency. Mm-hmm. And so it's almost like my job is to tune into what comes through, and their body, their spirit, their soul takes what is needed, and that vibration completely changes. Mm-hmm. Like when you change vibrationally, you change everything about you. You line things up that weren't in alignment. And as soon as you line things up, it's like having all the planets lined up and suddenly, oh, life is easier. How did that happen? It's the same with vibration. Like vibration can do this for us. It lines us up in a sort of a frequency that is cohesive for us to actually function more effectively. So yeah, it does make changes. And then our brain loves the information. It's like, oh, give me more understanding. We have the ahas, and that's the fun bit. And so there's the knowledge, the experience of the vibrational shift, and then there's some tools around how to practice. So you give someone those three things, and they've got the practice tools, they've got the vibrational realignment, and they've got understanding around it. So yeah, how can you not change unless you're a block of wood?
Exactly, yeah.
With that sort of mix of things. And lots of us do this in lots of different ways.
Definitely.
Include those three things, and basically my job is to empower the person to be who they are.
Wow.
That's what I'm interested in. I want to empower you to be you, and in the most fully realized way, and enjoying it. The satisfaction that comes when we're really kind of, oh, I was me then. I got me. I did me. And it worked.
And you can feel that passion that you have to do what you do and to bring it to the world, to share it with all these women who, it's the time now, time to step up, step into your truth, in your power. Instead of sitting back and letting you live your life for everyone else, it's about now living this life for you. Because I think women especially don't understand that this is their one life you've got to live right now. And for you to fully experience that is to be in your truth and to be into your power. And even if that's just, you know, not just, but being a role model, or in your business, in your work, whatever you do, it's having that power to connect truthfully to your authenticity and to share that and to model that into your circle of influence, because that, your vibration then also you know, helps others to either awaken, and you can either support them by sending into people like you who can help them transform that and make that awareness happen. So I would love, Dominique, if you could please share where people can find you and help them through this journey.
All right, I have a website, and that's dominiqueoyston.com, and I'm online a lot. And so you can always send me a message through my website, and you can send me a message on Messenger. And I'm on Instagram as Mermaid Manifester, with the whole singing and the manifesting thing, which is, it's just fun. So it brings that fun element in. So Instagram and Facebook and my website are the three places really that you can contact me. On Facebook, I've got a couple of pages, Songlines of the Sea, and my coach page, my personal page. And the Songlines of the Sea is just, I guess, that, again, that mermaid pin. Look, you can see with the picture.
I know. Your colours, you have that ethereal, oceany, you know, earthy feel about you. It's just amazing.
And the thing about the water element is, the water element is our emotional life and our flow, which of course is connected to the feminine. This can be incredibly powerful if you think of the force of a giant wave, or the gentle mist. Like there's range in that, range in the water element. And I think once we start to experience our range as expressive beings, then we're absolutely anchored in the feminine when we do that. And it allows us just to flow with our life a little bit more. So that flow makes things a bit easier, because at the moment, this is hard slog doing what we're doing, really hard slog. And so we want to find that fluidity through the rocks and the stones, and, you know, the compacted earth, and over the airwaves, to actually let things flow and trust that water can always move through any other element. Like you find water has this capacity to keep moving. And I think that's one of the things we need to do. Because when it freezes to ice, we stop moving, and fear can freeze us. Fear, that's, you know, as much as fight and flight, it also freezes us. And so we need to start to thaw ourselves from this frozen space and actually start to just move. And it doesn't matter how we move, as long as we move. And the movement actually creates, you know, the classic wave and the flow and the movement that we can make with our message. So yeah, the water element is really strong, I think, for the feminine archetype.
It's good. Well, it's strong in you, that's for sure. I would just love to thank you for sharing yourself and your gift and your services in such a truthful, authentic way. And I hope that women, well, I know there already are a lot of women who already connect with you and are guided by you, and that many more who have a fear of being seen or heard and connecting to that authenticity also come and seek your guidance, because it's so nurturing and supportive and giving. And I think that's very sometimes difficult to find. We usually see we need to be in a linear, hard way of breaking through things, but the way you provide this is a very feminine, natural, loving way. So thank you so much, Dominique, and I look forward to working with you again.
Thank you. Thanks, Tammie. This has been absolutely delightful.
It's been amazing. So thank you everyone for joining us today, and I will provide links where you can find Dominique. Please take this time to check out her amazing, amazing services, and do yourself a favor, even gift it for a friend, because we all need this empowerment so we can live lives truly for ourselves. So thank you so much, Dominique.
Pleasure. Thanks, Tammie.